Becoming Sister Wives, Chapter 2. Several of my siblings who are still in high school became very angry with me for outing them by proxy. Of all my relatives, my mother struggled the most with my decision. She still blocks my post on her Facebook page because she doesn't want to answer the intrusive questions that would follow. She isn't ready yet to be as open about her beliefs as I am. When I told her about the show, she worried that I was putting my children in harm's way. She was especially concerned for them since my first marriage was destructive and unstable. I was just trying to figure out how to be a single mom. She felt that I was being irresponsible and not taking my children into consideration. This was very difficult for me to hear. I understood her concerns, but I also knew that I was bringing my children into the most wonderful family I'd ever seen and giving them the best father imaginable. Although my mother will still be my mother privately and supports me in every way she can, she wants nothing to do with the public side of my life. We love each other, but there is a distance between us, and that pains me. My mother grew up LDS and converted to her faith when she was a young adult. Many of her relatives struggled with her conversion, so she spent her life keeping her head down, feeling as if she had to apologize for her beliefs and try not to rub it in their faces. She hides her religion from people around her and has to be careful about what she says and does. This has made me very sad. However, after the show aired, many of my mother's relatives got a closer look at our world. This hard lifestyle was not scary or out there. They were more able to understand my mother's decision to live the principle. Because of Sister Wives, my mother has been able to come to her own and feel more accepted by her own family. I hope this change in her relatives' attitude will allow my mother to live more openly and comfortably. Like my mother, my father was opposed to my participation in Sister Wives. Although he's retired, he worked a city job his entire life and had to hide his marriage to my mother. When I decided to be a part of the show, I think he worried about what would happen to me as well. But after he saw how many people reacted to us after the show aired, approached us on the street wanting to talk to us and writing encouraging letters, he began to relax and open up to the show. In fact, he agreed to be filmed dancing with me at my wedding. This was a miracle for me. My father had never been comfortable acknowledging me in public before, was only to go on national television and announce that he is my dad. Later, my father agreed to be in an episode about our hunt for houses in Las Vegas. He was there while Mary, Cody, and I were looking for places for us to live. It meant so much to me that he consented to being filmed. Of all my family members, my father is the one who most recognizes and acknowledges all the positive changes the show has brought about. Since filming was underway during Cody and my long engagement, introducing Cody to my family meant bringing them face to face with the reality of my decision to be on television. When people started to recognize us, many family members shied away from me at public functions. They didn't want to be identified as polygamous. Even when we weren't filming, many of my family members still wanted to keep their distance from me. My sister's graduation, an event I wouldn't have missed for the world, was especially trying. Cody and I were trying to keep our heads down and maintain a low profile, but we were recognized by many people in the crowd. People were lining up to talk to us and get their pictures taken with us. I felt terrible, as my only intention had been to support my sister on her special day, and now I was drawing attention away from her. Some of my brothers and sisters were simply embarrassed by the people who wanted to take our picture. They hung back and wouldn't associate with us at all. Thankfully, other members of my family thought it was cool, like my sister who got excited when she saw how positively people were responding to Cody and me. I think she was really surprised by how supportive complete strangers would be. Several years before I married Cody, when I was at an absolute low point in my life, I made a life list of all the things I wanted to accomplish, and things were going so badly for me at the time. I allowed myself to dream as big as possible. Here is what was on my list: change the world, meet Oprah, write a bestseller, own a business. I look back on that now and think, be careful what you wish for, because you might get it. And then it may be something you don't want. I can never underestimate the positive impact of Sister Wives, but there are days when I wake up and say to myself, I don't want to do this anymore. I want everything to go back to normal. Being on a television show really altered my entry into the family and into plural marriage. Sadly, during the first season, many of our fans cast me as a homewrecker out to destroy Mary Janelle and Christine's happy family. I try not to dwell on the internet commentary, but since I think it's important to interact with our friends, I can't entirely avoid it. There have been so many negative comments about me that it's been difficult to shrug them off. People believe I have an ulterior motive, that I want Cody to myself and not because I love the family or my sister Wives. People believe I'm manipulative and conniving. I usually place last in the favorite Sister Wives poll. I know I should be stronger and not allow the opinions of our viewers to bother me, but so much of my marriage is tied up in the show. It's impossible not to be aware of the feedback and the audience reactions. I've had to be open with Tim, our producer, and tell him the interior area he has to tread so lightly as to not give America a woman another reason to hate me. If the audience dislikes me, then we've failed in our mission to convey the joys and stability of our lifestyle. We want to dwell on the positives, not only on the dramatic things that sully the picture, if only temporary. Any woman living a plural life will tell you the struggles that we've had to share about a new wife coming into a family are very normal, and over time things get better. It's ironic that the show itself was the catalyst for many of the troubles and struggles that we dealt with on camera. If not for the show, Cody and I would have gotten married quickly and quietly with little fanfare. The wedding became a storm cloud that hovered over us during the couch sessions. Things that should have remained personal and private to Cody and me, things that could have been beautiful and special, were fodder for analysis. I had to deal with the world's opinion about the fact that Cody picked my dress. I had to deal with the world's thoughts about him kissing me during our engagement. Everyone on the couch and in the audience felt the need to participate in what seemed to be an endless commentary and judgment on my wedding, the reception, and the honeymoon. For me, at least, it cheapened and stripped away the beauty of something special. I felt that because of the show, nothing had been left for me. Huge portions of my life were turned into an open book, available for public comment. While the show certainly causes tensions to rise and tempers to flare concerning my marriage to Cody, it definitely paved the way for Cody and me to be open about our relationship. I don't know any plural wives who have the freedom to publicly court and date and enjoy their husband's company in the same way I have. This for me is one of the show's greatest blessings. The other blessing, of course, is creating a more tolerant world for our children.